Conspiracy Theory 2023. Today we'll be exploring the scenario where large invisible aircraft controlled by governments exist for weather manipulation. We believe that large invisible aircraft are indeed developed by governments for the purpose of weather manipulation. These advanced aircraft, built with highly sophisticated stealth technology, are capable of evading radar detection and remain unseen by the public eye. Governments, including entities like Lockheed Martin, would play a significant role in designing and manufacturing these covert aircraft. The collaboration between defense organizations, scientific institutions, and meteorological experts would be crucial in executing such a complex operation. The invisible aircraft would be equipped with advanced weather control systems and instruments, allowing precise manipulation of rain, wind patterns, and other meteorological phenomena. Through a combination of sophisticated algorithms, real-time data analysis, and atmospheric modeling, these aircraft would be able to influence weather conditions on a regional or even global scale. Governments would likely justify the use of these invisible aircraft for weather manipulation by citing reasons such as disaster prevention, agricultural optimization, or climate regulation. However, ethical concerns and potential unintended consequences would be subjects of intense debate and scrutiny. Public awareness of these invisible aircraft would be limited, as the governments involved would maintain strict secrecy and control over their operations. Any leaked information or sightings would fuel speculation and conspiracy theories, further complicating the situation.
So we're calling it cloaking right now. Visible light, the wavelength of visible light is on the order of nanometers. Nanoparticles are on the right scale to sort of interact with that and manipulate. In principle, it's actually possible to get an object that will guide light around itself. The sphere is this sort of easiest shape to do. Right now, we can only cloak convex shapes, and that has to do with the sharp angles. So things like spheres and even cylinders, for the most part, we can do a pretty good job with. Squares, we can do it halfway decent job with, and then when we get to things like triangles where they have the more acute angles, that's where it sort of bends the light in a problematic way. A lot of other research groups have tried to build three-dimensional structures that can do this sort of light guiding, but working with nanoparticles, we prefer to use self-assembly. And in turn, we prefer to use liquids because as the liquid dries, the particles can come together in a particular way. So by controlling the structure of the particles, we can control how they come together. Go ahead. Now it's important to get the droplet size right since this is sort of a surface area effect, so that's why we're using this atomizer. Of course, it takes a while for the students to get the technique down. Things don't dry evenly, that adds to the distortion of the light. So we just chose to use a simple hair dryer, and it also speeds things up for the demonstration. So what future uses do we envision for this paint? I mean, of course, beyond the general novelty of being able to move about undetected, I think there are going to be a lot of applications for this. So, of course, the military is very involved. Invisible buildings and invisible vehicles. We provide new ideas, and it's society that decides, how new technologies will be used. Because, of course, we envision this being used on the skin. We want everything to be safe. If this stuff gets onto the wrong hands, reverse engineered by people who wish to do harm. I mean, it sounds like a movie or something, but that's the kind of thing I think that keeps me up at night a little bit.
Let's explore how the large invisible aircraft used for weather manipulation and how it could potentially be employed to keep people inside and the possible benefits that could be derived from such control. 1. Severe weather conditions. The invisible aircraft could manipulate weather conditions to create extreme and unfavorable situations, such as intense storms, heavy snowfall, or extreme heat waves. By imposing these conditions, people may be compelled or forced to stay indoors for their safety, as venturing outside could pose significant risks to their well-being. 2. Public safety and disaster prevention. The control over people's movement through weather manipulation could be justified as a means of protecting public safety and preventing potential disasters. By keeping individuals indoors during periods of hazardous weather, such as hurricanes or tornadoes, the invisible aircraft could help reduce casualties and property damage. 3. Law enforcement and social control. The ability to influence weather patterns could provide governments with a means of exerting social control. By selectively inducing unfavorable weather conditions, such as heavy rain or stormy weather, authorities may limit public gatherings, protests or civil unrest, effectively keeping people indoors and reducing the likelihood of mass mobilization or demonstrations. 4. Containment during public health emergencies. In the context of public health emergencies, such as pandemics or contagious disease outbreaks, the invisible aircraft could assist in enforcing containment measures. By manipulating weather conditions, authorities could create an environment that discourages outdoor activities and facilitates compliance with quarantine or isolation directives. 5. Environmental benefits. Keeping people indoors through weather manipulation might have potential environmental benefits. Reduced human activity and transportation during extreme weather events could help minimize carbon emissions and contribute to a temporary reduction in environmental impact. This could provide short-term relief for the environment and natural ecosystems. Let's delve deeper into the capabilities and motivations behind the existence of large invisible aircraft dedicated to weather manipulation by governments. 1. Advanced stealth technology. These invisible aircraft would utilize cutting-edge stealth technology developed by companies like Lockheed Martin. They would be equipped with materials and designs specifically engineered to absorb or redirect radar waves, rendering them virtually undetectable by conventional radar systems. 2. Covert operations and surveillance. Beyond weather manipulation, these aircraft would serve as platforms for covert operations and surveillance. With their ability to remain invisible and undetected, they could conduct aerial surveillance missions, monitor sensitive areas, and gather intelligence without raising suspicion. 3. Global weather control initiatives. Governments operating these invisible aircraft would be engaged in ambitious global weather control initiatives. By analyzing atmospheric conditions, manipulating cloud formation, and influencing air currents, these aircraft would have the potential to alter weather patterns on a large scale. 4. Geoengineering projects. Weather manipulation efforts would be part of broader geoengineering projects aimed at addressing climate change and mitigating extreme weather events. Governments might argue that such interventions are necessary to stabilize the environment, protect vulnerable regions, and promote global resilience. 5. International collaboration and secrecy. Given the scope and complexity of these operations, international collaboration among governments, scientific institutions, and military organizations would be essential. Secrecy would be paramount to maintain control over the technology and prevent any destabilizing effects or misuse by unauthorized entities. 6. Ethical and environmental considerations. The existence of large invisible aircraft controlling weather raises significant ethical and environmental concerns. Unintended consequences, such as unpredictable weather patterns, ecological disruptions, or unintended harm to vulnerable ecosystems, would be subjects of intense debate and scrutiny. 7. Public perception and conspiracy theories. Public awareness of these invisible aircraft would be limited, leading to increased speculation, conspiracy theories, and claims of government control over natural elements. Leaked information or unexplained phenomena associated with these aircraft would further fuel skepticism and speculation.
Remember, kids, the next time that somebody tells you the government wouldn't do that, oh yes they would.
Hey, I don't know if y'all know this, but I actually work in a cloud factory. We create clouds and make rain for the city of Chicago. The government doesn't want you to know this. We control the climate.
This is what I've been trying to tell y'all all along. They have actual factories that make these clouds. A lot of the weather is controlled, and we could take it back and control it.